The hugest of welcomes to day 4. We are 4/5 of the way there. We're almost done. I hope that by now you're feeling a bit more confident holding the hook, the yarn, and crocheting those stitches. Don't worry if you're still struggling. There is absolutely no way you're meant to be an expert at this stage, but do persevere and do carry on. It really is just that practice that's going to make all the difference. Also, don't forget you can rewatch this course when it's finished. It always makes sense a second time round and will really help to solidify the pattern in your mind so you can just focus on the stitches. I want you to remember that anyone can crochet. Please don't think that you are different. You really can do it. So today's aims are to start preparing you to understand the pattern and almost memorize it in your head. The pattern is really quite intuitive and easy to memorize. You just have to understand the sequence that it's following. I do have to apologize though if it gets confusing. I will repeat myself a couple of times on purpose. I feel that that will really help for some of the rules of this pattern to sink in, but I totally appreciate that it can be slightly overwhelming. So just do what you can today. If you want to just grab a cup of tea and just listen to me talk first before you actually try and crochet, that's also a wonderful idea. The video is about 10 minutes long, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time. So grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, grab your crochet stuff, and let's get cracking.
So let's recap on what we have done before. We have completed the foundation round, the first round, and the second round. And today on day 4, we'll be crocheting our third round. So here you can see what it looks like completed. And if you look at the granny square that we did yesterday, you can see that the third round, which is my yellow round, has another double cluster of wings and chains in each corner. So it's the same as the second round. Each corner has these double winged clusters plus chains in every round. If we look at the chart again, here is the first corner, here is the second corner, and now today we will crochet the same wing double cluster of stitches plus chains into this corner. Every corner always has these wing double cluster of stitches plus chains. Every single corner. This is always the rule. The difference now with round 3 is we have an extra cluster of stitches up here in between our corners that gets crocheted into this space. So this is the main difference between these two rounds. Every time you have a chain space, which is that space there, and there, you are going to crochet a new cluster, which is 3 treble crochets. And if you look at the chart, you can see that that one chain space is where we will crochet in our new cluster of treble stitches. So you can see here with my granny square, each chain space has a new cluster of treble crochets crocheted into each of these spaces. And every corner has got these winged double cluster of stitches plus chains. Now I'm sorry if that's a little confusing, but hopefully it will make a lot more sense as we start crocheting. So let's make a start. We will start at the corner like we always do with 3 chain stitches. But first I want you to get your yarn and to make a slip knot. Take your granny square and put your hook through a corner space and take your yarn behind. Get your hands into position, yarn over, bring that yarn through like this and then go over 1 stitch. Tighten it up if you need to. And now we need to do our 3 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, followed by 2 treble crochet stitches. Remembering always that the 3 chain stitches is our fake treble crochet. So that's the first half of our winged double cluster complete. Now we need to do 3 chain stitches. And then another cluster of 3 treble crochets again into the same corner space. Now before we crochet into our next corner, you can see we have this space here, and this is where we need to do our next cluster of 3 treble crochets. So if we look at the chart, this is where we need to do our cluster of stitches there into that 1 chain space from the round before. But before we move along, think back to the tricycle. We've done our 3 treble crochets, so the tricycle is complete. But remember, to move along, we always need to do 1 chain stitch. So go ahead and do your 1 chain stitch. And now go into that space and crochet 3 trebles. Once again, once we've completed the cluster, in order to move along, we need to do 1 chain stitch. So let's do that now together. So now you're ready to crochet into your second corner, which means you're ready to do your next winged double cluster of crochet stitches plus chain stitches. Remember, every corner has 3 trebles plus 3 chains, followed by another 3 trebles, always into that same corner space. So keep following the pattern. I will leave it up for you to look at, or you can use your handout. Just remember, in between every corner, there is always 1 cluster of stitches. And between every cluster of stitches before you move to the corner, you always have 1 chain stitch. But you can easily see that with the pattern, so don't worry too much about having to remember this all right now. When we get to the end of the round, we do a slip knot to complete it by poking your hook into the 3rd chain from the bottom. Yarn over, go through both stitches one at a time, and if you like, you can also weave in the ends now. Now enjoy your day, and if you have time, practice the third round on your other little granny squares. Until tomorrow, take care.